guys, what's going on? My name is Ryan and welcome back to a brand new video on HMSUP News. Today we're going through the Moto3 2018 rider lineup, so we're going to get straight into it with the Conca Gresini team. That will remain the same as this year. Jorge Martin and Fabio Di Gianantonio, both of them will be riding Honda for next season, just like they have done this year. And Martin, obviously, if you not kind of kept up to date with what's happened throughout this year, is that 8 poles but no wins to show for it. So hopefully, if he doesn't get the final win in Valencia this weekend, he will definitely get a win in 2018. His teammate Fabio Di Gianantonio, obviously he will always be kind of there, but it's just whether or not he can stay consistent, because there's been a few times this year where he's had some silly crashes. So I think Martin and DG will definitely be in the fight for the championship next year. Moving on to the Leopard Racing Team, obviously world champions this year with Johan Mir, but Johan Mir is stepping up into Moto2 and Livio Loy is off elsewhere, so they've got to have 2 brand new riders for next year, and that is Enea Bastianini and Lorenzo Dalla Porta. Both of them guys will be on a Honda. Bastianini obviously went from Gresini to Estrella Galicia, and now is going to Leopard, and we saw that jump from the Gresini team to the Estrella Galicia didn't really work until the final kind of quarter of the season, where all of a sudden he kind of popped out of nowhere. So if Bastianini can have that form that he's had at the end of this year right through the whole year next year, I reckon he could be quite quick. He could be quite quick. Lorenzo Dalla Porta, yeah, I think it's good to see him get a good ride, because he's been stuck with that Mahindra this year and it's not really been very good for him. But obviously we saw a few signs of talent really when he was in with the Squadra 46 team, when he was at Sepang in the leading group, and then there was that really strange crash where nearly everybody crashed. It was quite weird, and then double rights, he was one of them. He crashed out the leading group. So we have seen Lorenzo Dalla Porta and the talent he has, so hopefully next year on the Leopard he can really show that and really show everyone what he's got. Now moving on to the Estrella Galicia team, Aaron Canet will stay at that team, but he's got a brand new teammate, obviously, as Bastianini heads over to Leopard, and that is coming from the CEV rider Alonso Lopez. He will step up into the Moto3 team alongside Aaron Canet. Aaron Canet, obviously, he's obviously got to be a championship contender next year. He was one this year, so he's got to be one next year, you would have thought. But Alonso Lopez, I'm interested to see what he can do next year. I have a little bit of hope for him, really. I think he'll do really well on the Estrella Galicia bike, but only time will tell. Now moving into what was the Platinum Bay Real Estate team, next year is going to be the Besta Capital Dubai team, and that will have 1 new rider for next season. Marcos Ramirez is staying where he is next year on the KTM with the brand new name team, the Besta Capital Dubai, and he will actually be alongside Messiah, who came into the championship as a replacement rider for Darren Binder, and he did really well. So I'm looking forward to see what Messiah can do in a full season next year. So it's going to be good for both Messiah and Ramirez. Both of them riders showed a lot of talent throughout 2017, and I think next year they'll definitely be on the podium and maybe even potentially winning races next year if they can get in the leading group, because as we've seen so many times, anything can happen in Moto3. German rider Philipp Prüstel, he's staying where he is with the scheduled GP Racing Team. He will remain on the KTM at that team, where hopefully he can pick up a bit of form. He starts the season really well, and then all of a sudden kind of just drops away. He's had a few injuries this year, but at the same time he has really kind of just faded away quite badly. But hopefully Ertel can show some consistency next year and see what he can do on that KTM. Now the Saxo Print team was originally a Peugeot for the last couple of years, and obviously now with Mahindra pulling out the sport, that means Peugeot is as well, because Peugeot is basically the branded Mahindra. So Peugeot's out, and obviously it's only KTM and Honda for 2018, and Saxo Print have gone for the KTM. So Marco Bezzecchi and Jakob Kornfeil, that's the rider lineup for that team, and they will be both on KTMs for the 2018 season. As will Aspar, they'll be on KTM as well. Andrea Mino moving across from the Skyvr 46 team into Aspar team. He will be partnering current Aspar rider Albert Arenas, and obviously as well, because of Mahindra pulling out, they will be running a KTM next year. The SIC 58 Squadra Corse team will have 1 brand new rider as Tony Arbolino leaves the team, and they will welcome Nicolo Antonelli, the Sky Academy rider, the VR46 Academy rider. He will be jumping into the SIC 58 Squadra Corse team alongside current rider Tatsuki Suzuki. They will be remaining with Honda. And yeah, it should be interesting to see what they can do, because Antonelli went from the, what was the Ongetta, which is now the Marinelli Rivacold team, and then he went to Red Bull KTM, which was, going into this season, the World Championship winning bike with Brad Binder. But unfortunately for Nicolo, it's not really worked for him. I mean, 20 crashes I think he had in 1 month in November in pre-season testing. 20 crashes in a month. That's a little bit ridiculous. So, yeah, hopefully Antonelli can learn to stay on the bike and just see what he can do next year. I mean, he's on a good team. We've seen both Arbolino and Suzuki put in some really good results on that bike. So, yeah, it should be good to see Antonelli and Suzuki next year and see what they can do on that Honda. I definitely think they will be in the fight for, you know, top 10s, maybe top 5s, and who knows, Antonelli could even bag a podium in Moto3. Right, moving on to Marinelli Rivacold, currently running Fanati and Danilo are moving up into the Moto2 class, so they need a brand new rider, and that's coming from Tony Arbolino, who was on the SIC 58 Squadra Corse, and they've done really well. Has Arbolino and Suzuki, but Arbolino's done I think personally Arbolino's just been a little bit better in terms of performance, and Marinelli Rivacold snipers have snatched him up for a ride next year, and I reckon that's actually a good call there from Marinelli Rivacold snipers team, and I think Arbolino is going to do very well next year on the Honda. Right, SIC Racing VR46. Well, what a year it's been for KTM, and especially that team. Everyone put down Bulega and Mino for kind of title favourites, really. And, well, it's been a little bit of the opposite. And whether or not that's because, you know, KTM won the championship in 2016 with Brad Binder, and then they've gone into Moto3 for 2017, which is kind of like, we won the title, we've got a Moto2 project and a MotoGP project, let's just focus on that. And it's backfired massively because, well, there's only been one win in Moto3 from KTM, and that was from Andrea Mino in Mugello. And Mino, obviously, leaving the team, as I said earlier, he's going to the Aspar team. So that means Dennis Foggia will step up from the CEV. He was on the SIC Racing Team bike in CEV. He will move up into the main Moto3 team alongside Nicolo Bulega for the 2018 season. And you can put your money on, like I said earlier, KTM being back at the front for the 2018 season. Right, moving into the CIP team, brand new riders all round for there. Makar Yuchenko and John McPhee. Obviously, John was running the British Talent team. That's now folded and moved into the CEV with Tom Buthamos. And obviously, it's going to be a bit of a different kind of, you know, learning curve for John moving onto a KTM. Don't think he's ever ridden a KTM in the Moto3 class. It's going to be quite interesting to see how he does. Obviously, CIP as well, not the biggest team, but, you know, we've seen some good results from him. Marco Bezecchi got a podium in Japan, and they've been up at the front in a lot of races. You know, they've been inside the top 15, inside the top 10. So, you know, who says John McPhee and Makar Yuchenko can't actually show a bit of, you know, a bit of form next season. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to the KTMs. Talking to KTM, in the main Red Bull Ajo, they've gone for the younger Binder, Darren Binder. It will be the only rider in the Red Bull KTM Ajo team next year. Disappointing season for them with Ben Snyder and also Nicolo Antonelli for the 2017 season. It's been absolutely, it's just been awful, let's be honest, it's been awful. But Red Bull KTM Ajo will snatch up Darren Binder for the 2018 season, and that should be good because Binder used to as well, like we said up earlier on with Ramirez, who is his current teammate for 2017. Both of them guys have shown some good results, some proper talent, so hopefully Binder on the Red Bull KTM team will do well and doesn't do a bit of an Antonelli. Right, Honda Team Asia, they're obviously running a Honda and obviously keeping their two riders, Keito Toba and Nakarin Atirat Puvapat. And yeah, again, just like many of the other teams, Toba has had a really kind of up and down season. He's been up there and then he's been kind of fell back a bit, and he's been up there and it's fell back a bit. But Atirat Puvapat has kind of been the same. He's been up there in iffy conditions and then drops down in some races, and then in the wet he's back up and then he drops down again. So I think it's going to be, if they can just kind of, obviously they're both rookies in 2017, so 2018 will be obviously a little bit better for them. But are they good enough for top 5s, top 10s? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think definitely they'll be inside the points more often. but it's just whether or not they can really get in that leading group and just kind of battle it out with everybody. The RBA team will be keeping their same 2 riders next year, Gabriel Rodrigo and Juan Thranguevera. Both of them guys have had many front row starts this year, many pole positions, but they haven't really had the results that they've been wanting for. So whether or not they can perform next year and get the results that they want and be consistent, I don't know. But I definitely think there will be, you know, fighting for top 5s in the championship. Maybe, you know, get podiums here and there. So yeah, I think it should be a good year for next year for RBA. If they can just keep on doing what they've been doing at the end of this year, it should be overall a good year for the RBA team. The Sepang International Circuit team will actually be having a bit of a sponsor change. It's actually going to be the Petronas Sprinta Racing, and they're keeping their same 2 riders, Ayumu Sasaki and Adam Noureddin. Both of them guys will be running Hondas next year, and they've both had a good season. Sasaki coming in as a complete rookie, got 11th in Qatar as his first ever race. He got points. That was a very impressive race for him, and he's been really impressive kind of all year. You know, he's been a little bit of an underdog, and I reckon next year I think he could definitely be fighting for, you know, more consistent top 10s, and same for Noureddin as well. He's had a little bit more experience than Sasaki, but yeah, I think definitely Noureddin will definitely be up near the front in the leading group, top 10s, maybe some top 5s here and there. And again, it should be a good championship for everybody, because obviously I'm saying everybody could be at the front, but it's true, anybody and everybody could win a Moto3 race throughout the year. So it's going to be really, really good to watch, because Moto3 is always good to watch and it's so hard to call. So moving on to the final lineup rider on our list, and that is Livio Loy. He will be joining the Reale Stylo Bike team, which I assume, and I'm not 100% sure on this, I assume it's going to be the Reale Avintia MotoGP bike, but the Moto3 version of it that we've seen with Vicente Perez throughout the year on a few wildcards and that. So Livio Loy will be joining the Reale Stylo bike, and they'll be running a KTM for the 2018 season. So there we go. That is how your Moto3 2018 kind of grid looks like. So if you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe. Let me know down in the comments your top 3 predictions for the championship in 2018, and we will let you know, we'll read them and we'll reply to them. So yeah, there we go. That's it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.